Zim is the name of an artist, nay, an art god in Xiaohongshu. Recently, they released a lighting tutorial. It's really quick, it's only 3 minutes long, and the subtitles are in Mandarin. But not to worry, my grandkids. Grandma Feng will break it all down for you. Before jumping into the lighting studies, we must prepare a finished painting. Yes, I learned the hard way that you cannot just slap on lighting on a sketch and base color. It looks flat and overall, just not good. Since my art style and Xiaohongshu's style are semi-realistic, it's best to have a finished painting. However, if your style is cel shading, it's probably okay to start with the lighting study on a base color. I'm drawing Ryo as today's subject because, come on, he's Ryo. And because we'll meet him again in 5.6. Look at him with his little teacup. Ugh, wanna squish his cheeks. Use references with neutral front lighting and avoid dramatic lighting so it doesn't clash with the lighting study. Let's start with something simple, rim light. You can never go wrong with rim light. It's easy, it's dramatic, it highlights your character. Love it. First, create a multiply layer and apply dark gray all over the painting. Don't forget to use clipping mask so it doesn't bleed everywhere. Here are 4 blending modes that I often use. Multiply to add darker color like we did before. Overlay to add lighter, more saturated color. Add for highlights. It's really strong so proceed with caution. And color to add more colors without ruining the shading. For the rim light, I first use a normal layer to apply muted yellow. This acts as a base, so the light looks more natural. This is what Xiaohongshu did in their video as well. When applying the rim light, draw some highlights thin and some thick for variation, so it doesn't look monotone. I draw thicker highlights on Ryo's wolf ears and traps. Then I made an overlay layer for subsurface scattering effect. What is subsurface scattering, you ask? Subsurface scattering, also known as subsurface light transport, is a mechanism of light transport in which light that penetrates the surface of a translucent object is scattered by the infrared. I cannot even pretend to understand what I just read. But basically, subsurface scattering is this. We're trying to simulate this look. Capiche? I used a muted orange and lightly airbrushed it across the edge of the shadow. This creates a warm red-orange line where light meets shadow. If you don't like the color, you can always change it with hue and saturation. It's under filter. I think it could use a bit more color, so I add more with linear light on top of overlay. I really recommend experimenting with blending modes. It's really fun to see the different effects on the painting. Afterwards, duplicate and then merge your layers. Never ever merge without duplicating first. Your future self will thank you. I'm fixing the highlights and adding strands of hair for a more dramatic effect. I also stylized my painting even more by adding lash shadow on the aegyosal. Then adjust the overall color with tone curve and hue and saturation. So this is before and after. Now on to the next one. Now we are doing the beach lighting. It's like Ryo is going to the, to the beach. But first, we have to make the background. Nothing too complicated, just a gradient of blue and sand color. We call back our original Ryo, then on a multiply layer, apply blue all over him. Add the sand color on the lower half as reflected light. I tried using overlay at first, but it was too saturated, so I switched to soft light. I also added more saturated blue on his face. I created another soft light layer to add solid highlights with the sand color. I actually ran into some difficulties here because I cannot seem to recreate the gradient of sky and sand on my own painting. So I decided to make a circle like Xiaohongshu did to simulate the colors and lighting easier, so I can just apply the same thing to my painting. Alright. Now, I'm adding highlights using a normal layer. It's kinda like rim light, but only on one side. Again, this will act as the base highlight before we're adding the effects using other blending modes. Applying base highlights using a normal layer is such a game changer for me. It's easier to control the colors. However, it does cover up the rendering of the original painting, so adjust the layer and brush opacity and redraw the missing details if necessary. Keep in mind, not all light comes from the sun. There are soft blue highlights from the sky, especially on the cheekbones, forehead, and nose bridge. Overlay is perfect for subsurface scattering. The color it creates always amazes me. However, be sure to pick muted colors to avoid oversaturation. I switched to soft light again to brighten Ryo's lips. Then I'm merging the layers to add more details such as hair strands, highlighting the lashes, fixing the rendering, and applying highlights to his body. Look for additional references to highlight the body. Thankfully, my reference is shirtless. You just can't see it because not today, yellow dollar signs. Or, just draw from the neck up. I don't know why I forced myself to draw from the chest. I use tone curve for color and contrast adjustments. Be careful not to overdo it. Then I tried a gradient map with a blue-violet gradient, set it to soft light, and lowered the opacity. I think it enhances the blue but kind of covers up the sand color, so I'll erase some of it with a soft eraser. Okay, so this is before and after. Wow, does it look different. The background does help with this beachy vibe. I say it beachy, not bitchy. This one's kind of challenging, but it's not so bad, I think. Now let's move on to a simpler lighting. This is a side lighting, but on steroids. It looks stronger, it looks dramatic, just like people on steroids. As always, we apply the shadow all over the painting with multiply layer. After that, I'm applying the highlight using normal layer to cover half of the face. Now here's where I'm stumped, because half of his face is now covered with solid light yellow. And I was like, is it supposed to look like that? So I went back to Zim's video and yeah, it is supposed to be like that. But why does it look good on Zim's while mine looks like someone threw custard on half of Ryo's face? But you know what? Let's just continue. I don't believe in the phrase trust the process because what, I'm supposed to blindly believe in some process I never tried. So I'm gonna trust Zim's process. If it's supposed to look like that at first, so be it. This is where knowing facial structure really helps. Even in the light area, there are shadows, like around the eyes, around the nose, and lips. If you look closely at Zim's work, the highlight isn't just flat yellow. It's brighter on the cheekbone, nose bridge, upper jaw, and lower lip. Because the bones stick out, they catch more light. If you don't want to learn the anatomy of the skull, I understand. It's boring, it's too technical, it's too 7th grade or whatever grade you learn bone structure in. So, just learn from your favorite artist, analyze their work, copy their work for art study only, okay? Don't claim it as yours. I'm watching you, you freaking little goober. And if you make it a routine, not only you'll get better at anatomy, but also find and improve your art style. 2 birds with 1 stone. At least that's what I do instead of getting too technical and learning just anatomy. Okay, I'm done with the base highlight. Now you know the drill. Add subsurface scattering with overlay. I usually use orange with a hint of red. Since the shadow is cool, the light should be warm. You can never go wrong with cool shadow, warm lighting. Don't forget to highlight the eyeball as well and add lower lash shadows, but this is optional. And then adjust the color with hue and saturation, and oh, pink lighting looks really good. Purple and blue are also not bad. Okay, forget what I said about cool shadow, warm lighting, just do whatever you want as long as it looks good. Alright, now this is the before and this is after. Is it just me or the lighting makes him look more baby girl? Like, okay, this is normal Ryo, and then suddenly, ooh, so baby girl, so pretty. I don't hate it though. This might actually be my favorite lighting so far. Let's spice things up with down lighting. Is that the correct term? Anyway, we're going for that look where light comes from below. You know, like in horror movies? Well, anyway, let's call Ryo back in. We apply the shadow all over him as per usual. Now, instead of applying the base lighting like before, I'm erasing the shadow to build the lighting. It looks terrifying. Yes, I know. It's supposed to look like that. So don't worry about it. I think Xiaohongshu overlaid purple on the skin beforehand. It didn't occur to me when I was painting it. I just realized it when I'm recording the voiceover. My brain is slow sometimes. Anyway, I'm just mapping out the highlights based on Zim's version. The nose, eyes, and mouth will have the most contrast. Also, the upper lip should be highlighted. and the bottom part of the lower lip as well. Now create overlay layer, apply dark, muted purple. I don't know if subsurface scattering even applies to this lighting, but it adds a nice color transition between the shadow and light. It also adds more color to the shadow. I'm merging all the layers to fix the shading. By now I realized that I should have merged before I overlay the muted purple, because now it kind of blends into the skin. But I don't think this one needs subsurface scattering effect, so Remember to alternate between hard and soft shadows. Big areas like the forehead and cheeks should have softer fade into the light. Ryo's eyes look really unsettling right now. It's fine, it's horror. He's supposed to look unsettling. Anyway, you see this dark nose shadow? I'm gonna try to add that in using multiply. I was hesitant to add that shadow because it might look unnatural because it's really dark, but I think it looks okay. It adds more realism to the painting. Alright, this is before and after. This is normal Ryo. This is horror movie Ryo. Coming this fall, rise in the mystery of missing tea bags. I'm really sorry. This one should be pretty simple. You cover the whole thing with shadow, then add a line of lighting, then add subsurface scattering. That's it. Pretty easy, right? Well, on a circle, yes. On a person, we'll see. So I covered Ryo in shadow and immediately swiped a line of light across his face using an add layer. Then I erased some part of that light to create the cast shadow. If you're wondering why I'm doing it like this, I'm just following what Zim did. I don't think using the normal layer for highlight works in this piece because it will literally cover up everything including his eye. I blurred the edges a little bit, added some highlights on the lower part of his hair, and then, as usual, add subsurface scattering using overlay and a muted red. That's it, right? That's supposed to be it. So why does it look shit? Where did I go wrong? Okay, you know what I think? I think it looks shit because the shadow looks so flat. It's supposed to follow the shape of the face, not just slapped on like a bumper sticker. So I turned off the overlay layer for now and fixed the shadow. Ryo's eyes, nose, and lips had also lost definition, so I'm redrawing these features. Not fully though, just enough to redefine them. Now we bring back the overlay, and it should make the eye, nostrils, the lips like super red, like when a strong sunlight hits the skin. I don't think this is red enough, so I'm adding it manually. I'm also overlapping gradient map on top of it. I used blue violet, set it on soft light and lower the opacity. I tried adding background like Sims, but somehow it made it worse. So far, this is not my favorite lighting. But anyway, this is the before and after. I really should practice more. Well, what do you guys think? Which one is your favorite lighting? Mine is definitely the dramatic side lighting and beach lighting. Check out Zim, I will link their account in the description. Super talented artist, truly an art god, and that's about it. Bye bye.